Hello and welcome to this wonderful day, Q&A today, Q&A live today. We're going to talk about a question from one of our viewers. Thank you so much for joining us today, everyone. As you all know, June and I are transformation experts. We help people go from where they are to where they want to be. That's what we do. All right, we have passion in that. Joan is not here today, so I will be flying solo today. And we're still going to make it exciting and informative for you today. All right, that's what we're going to do today. Um, Let me start by saying that Joan and I believe in the fact that that we live in an abundant world and that we all deserve success, plenty of it, as much as we would like to go for. That's what we believe in, and that's what Premier Destiny, the coaching company that we're part of, is all about. All right. So we believe that everyone is has the opportunity to create abundance in their life if they follow certain long t- test time, long held and proven concepts. Um, we have a question today from a gentleman, Phil from Reno, Nevada. His question is as follows: what common barriers prevent people from taking action, and how can they break through those barriers? It's a fantastic question, Phil. Fantastic question, and I thank you for asking it. Um, we've all been there, folks. We've all been there, right? Staring at challenges in front of us, challenges sometimes that seem like we cannot even overcome them, right? Uh, it's in these moments that fears kind of creep in. We we doubt ourselves, we make excuses, we feel stuck, we feel as if we're unable to get out of whatever situation or challenge that's in front of us. But what if I told you that these challenges, these fears, these doubts, these obstacles are stepping stone to the life, the goals, the achievement that you're after? Because that's what it comes down to, folks. Overcoming these challenges will lead to your next triumph, what you're after. So it's important to look at challenges that we may overcome, we may face, as not roadblocks, if you will, right? They're not the end of the line, but as challenges to be overcome that will let us think better, think more, look at what resources we have to step over them, right? As this officer sometimes challenge you either step over the challenge, step around, go around it, or go through it, right? It's a choice. It is a choice. So we can all go through them and overcome them. So that's a way to look at it, these challenges. So I'm going to go through some common barriers that we all face as we go through life in business or in our personal lives, and provide some suggestions on solutions that could help overcome those challenges. Okay, so I'll get started with that. The first one is the fear of failure. The fear of failure, folks. This is often the most significant barrier, uh, as it directly impacts a person's willingness to take risks, and they try things. It stops them from trying things, basically, right? They don't want to take any chance. They don't want to try anything because they're afraid to fail. They're afraid to fail. It keeps them within their comfort zone. They only do what they're comfortable doing, and so it prevents them from, like I said, moving forward. The fear of failure. It's a common one, like I said earlier. It holds a lot of people back. It kind of paralyzes people in their tracks. They can't make a step forward because of that. Um, we've all been there. I've been there too. I've been there too. You want to start a business, which is what John and I did years ago, but you feel that fear. Boy, what if I fail? What if I don't make it? What if I don't make it? What are people going to think about me? What am I going to think about myself? Right? It's a big one. It's a big one, but it's a challenge that we can all overcome in a quest to achieve whatever it is we're after. All right. You know, the breakthrough comes when you realize that everyone has been through it. Everyone has been through it, folks. Everyone has gone through fear at some point in their lives. And to make anything great of ourselves, we have to go through failure. It's part of it. It's part of the process. In fact, I would encourage you to look at failure as not the end. Okay, failure is not the end. It's a chance for you to learn. I look at it as feedback. Look at it as feedback. You just kind of learn what did not work, and now you can go back, regroup, right? Put some more resources together and go over the hump. That's where look at failure. That's where look at failure. Failure is not final unless you accept that it is, right? Unless you accept that it is. It's a stepping stone. It's something you learn from, So don't look at failure as the end, really. Uh, again, don't worry about what people think. Really, I mean that's a big one, because a lot of times folks don't really care. Honestly, they don't care. They're so busy trying to live their lives and make ends meet and do their thing that they don't really care. They're not really gonna pay much attention, And the important people in there are gonna support you. Because they know it's part of the process. It's the price that we all pay for success. All right. So again, I would say don't worry about the fear of failure. The second one challenge that a lot of people go through that stops them from taking action is lack of self-belief. That also, I believe, is a big one. I think it's a big one. It's one of those ones that could really be the foundation that stops everything else for you. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe you can do it. You have this. It's a sense where you feel like you don't have what it takes, if you will. You don't have the abilities to make it happen, right? That's a big one. That's a big one. But again, it can be overcome. It can be overcome. You just have to look at what you've done in the past that you've been successful at. Are there some things you've done in the past that you've been successful at? Well, do you have certain abilities? You can make things happen. Draw from that strata strength from those successes that you had in the past. I would encourage you to use some empowering affirmations. Use some empowering affirmations that make you believe in your abilities. And use those affirmations on a regular basis. I do mine in the morning, afternoon, and evening, or whenever I'm faced with a challenge. I do them. An example of a situation where someone may suffer from lack of belief is in a case where someone may want to write a book. And the challenge, boy, they've never written before, right? But if you look at it, you go back to yourself, you say, well, I've done other things that have been successful, and you start taking steps, little steps along the way. Maybe you pace it out. The first day you may write, maybe 500 words, right? The next day you write another 500. You pace yourself out so that in the course of a certain period of time that you select, you can get that goal accomplished. You can do it. But I would encourage you strongly to use some affirmations, empowering affirmations that support you, that build you up. Empowering. Okay. Um, the next, uh, the next barrier that stops a lot of people is procrastination. Procrastination. It's a common barrier that affects a wide range of people and situations. It affects all of us. It often serves as a symptom of deeper issues that, like fear, doubt, overwhelm, perfectionism. You want it perfect? Procrastination. It keeps you stuck in the same place. It kind of delays the progress that you want to make. Procrastination. Folks, there's a way around that too. There's a way around that too. Yeah. Let's say you want to achieve a big task, for example, and you procrastinate. You're getting ready for an exam, or you want to take a course or whatever, and you keep procrastinating when you're gonna do it. I would just say, set a date, set a date to make it happen. Set a date for that exam or that course, and then start taking incremental steps to get you there. If it's studying to prepare for the class that's coming up or for the exam, you start studying. You pace yourself out, and I don't know you're going to get there. One of the motives that I use a lot, to stop me from procrastinating is do it now. Do it now. Just do it. Do it now. That's a big one for me. That gets me away from procrastinating. It could also help you out there. The next barrier that stops people from taking actions is trying to be perfect. Trying to be perfect before you even make the first move. Perfectionism. You want to be perfect before you even get started. It can paralyze people. It causes significant delays and or inaction. It's a major hurdle, especially for those striving for excellence. I talked about the person who wants to write a book. They want to make sure they have everything before they get started. We all know how that goes. If you want to wait till you get everything perfect before you get started, guess what? You will never get started. That's the challenge. The important thing, folks, is just go out and just get in there and get going. Start somewhere. We don't want to let perfection be the stop us from even doing the good, right? We don't want that. We don't want that. Rather than wait to get everything perfect before you get started, just start where you are. Start where you are, and you improvise as you go. You improvise as you go. Remember, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to become great. You don't have to be great to get started, but you have to start to get great. That's an important one to think of. Again, I talked about just do it, like Nike says, just do it. All right. And then over time, you're going to perfect it. Whatever flaws may happen, will you perfect it as you go? The next a barrier that stops a lot of people is fear of success. Yes, folks, fear of success. While this one is less common than the other ones we've talked about, the fear of success can just be as debilitating as the fear of failure. It can be, especially once people start to achieve a certain degree of success, then they fear to achieve even more, because they feel like, they're going to be uncomfortable in their environment. So fear of success can stop people too. It can stop people from even achieving even more that they want in their lives. A breakthrough for this would be to when you realize that success doesn't have to it doesn't have to impact other people. For example, you have to just determine what you want and go after it. Determine what you want and go after it. Because as long as you're doing something that you're doing good, you're empowering others, you're helping others, it's for the good, go for it. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be able to support more people, support more causes, and make a better person out of yourself if you go for you try to be the best that you can be. Correct? So go for it. The other barrier, next barrier that stops a lot of people is the comfort zone trap. Staying in your comfort zone prevents growth and development. Folks want to do what they're comfortable doing. They don't want to stretch it beyond what they're comfortable doing. That's the challenge. That is the big challenge there. Overcoming this barrier of staying in your comfort zone is critical for any success to happen in any part of our lives, folks. It's really important. It is comfortable. But just we have to remember that change, progress demands change, right? Progress demands change. It requires change. And we cannot stay where we are and get better. We have to move out of where we are to learn new things, to get better, to grow, to change, and ultimately to succeed. So, comfort zone trap is a big one, but it can be overcome if we realize that progress demands change. Another big one, another big barrier that stops a lot of people is negative self talk. Negative self talk. What is self talk, folks? It's what we say to ourselves about ourselves. Most of the time, it's negative, unfortunately. Most of the time, our self talk to ourselves is negative. It's disempowering. It makes us feel bad about ourselves, about our abilities and what we can do. That's the challenge. Why don't we flip it? Why don't we flip it? And instead speak affirming thoughts, empowering thoughts to ourselves. That'll help us out quite a bit. Because guess what? We'll spend most of the time in our day with ourselves, right? So if we speak highly of ourselves, we feel good about ourselves, we empower ourselves, we don't talk down to what we do, what we get wrong, it builds us up. And it gives us that strength we need to overcome whatever challenges we may face out there. Another barrier that stops a lot of people is comparison to others. People compare themselves to other people. And as a result, and if they're not doing so well, they get discouraged, they lose motivation, and it just makes things difficult, and it makes it difficult to even get started sometimes. It's almost like the case of, say, yeah, someone who wants to learn how to play music, but when they watch a very successful musician perform, they get discouraged. Boy, it's gonna how am I get how long is gonna get for me to get that good? They get discouraged because they're comparing themselves to someone who's very accomplished, who's put in a lot of time and effort over a long period of time to get to where they are. Comparison like that is not helpful. It will stop you dead in your tracks and prevent you from going after the goals that you're interested in. A solution to that would be just start where you are. Realize that whoever this person who is excelling at what they do, it took them some time. They had to put in some time and effort. And then set yourself on a game plan. Start small, pace yourself out, and ultimately you're going to get there, or even better. You're going to get good and even better because you can do it too. As a famous saying that I heard years ago, it says that a big shot is a little shot that kept on shooting. A big shot is a little shot that kept on shooting. That's something for you to consider. The next barrier that stops a lot of people is lack of clarity, not being definite about what you want, what you really want. You're not definite about it. And consequently, it clouds you. You cannot think straight. You cannot take the right actions. You're confused because you don't know exactly what you want. You're not clear about it. If you're not clear about it, how can you go after it? As I say, if you don't know where you're going, any road is good enough, right? We've heard that too. So it's important to sit down, figure out what you want, what you really want, and that takes some time. And then the answers will come to you. And once you figure out what you want, then you can start looking at solutions to help you get to where you want. It's about clarity and having a definite purpose, definite want, what you want in your life. The next barrier that stops a lot of people is overwhelm and information overload. That's a big one. I'm sure you can agree. That's a big one. Information overload in this day and age today, we are bombarded with so much information from all corners, right? You've heard folks talk about paralysis of analysis, right? I mean, you have so much information to go through that you simply just shut down. I mean, it's just too much. It's overwhelming. You just give up, right? And similarly, sometimes you have too many choices to choose from, and you just shut down. It's kind of a normal human reaction sometimes. So the way to do the way to kind of get through things like that would be, I would pick my choice, pick the sources of my information, and then quickly exclude what I don't want and decide on what I want. Sometimes less is more, and less is better. This is one of the cases. Because again, when we get too much information coming in, it paralyzes us. It paralyzes us, and when we're paralyzed, we'll not be able to make any moves. The next barrier that stops a lot of people is external pressure and expectations. The pressure to conform to others' expectations of us can lead us to make choices that don't align with what we really want. And ultimately, we're going to regret. We're going to regret. We're going to be unhappy. We're going to be uncomfortable. We're going to be dissatisfied. All of the above. It happens quite a bit with parents who may want their kids to do certain things or get into certain careers in life, and the kid gets in there and then realizes down the road that that's not really what they wanted. They're not really cut out for that kind of stuff or that kind of work or that line of work, right? We have to kind of go with what we want, what resonates with us, what we feel is good for us, what we feel like we're cut out to do. That'll help us then be able to put in the effort and get the work done and accomplish the dreams that we're after. The next barrier that can stop a lot of people is lack of resources or support. While this is important, this barrier can be easily, in my view, mitigated through creative thinking. Through creative thinking, creative public problem solving as well. So this makes it a much easier barrier, if you will, to overcome. In my view, that it's much easier to me than the other. I think than the other ones we've talked about. The perception of not having enough resources such as time, money, support can prevent a lot of people from taking action. Imagine an entrepreneur, with a great business idea. He has limited funds to be able to execute on the idea that he or she has. They may feel stuck, disappointed, and unable to move forward. This challenge can be resolved too. Again, like I talked about, you can engage some network. You can do some crowd funding. There's a way that you can use to raise funds. You can seek out mentors that will guide you on where to go to get resources. Networking also can help. Okay, you can do some bartering of services. You do this for this person, the person does this for you. So this is some way that's the way you can resolve this particular challenge, that barrier that we talked about here, folks. And especially in this one, you want to focus on what's available to you, what you can do, rather than what you don't have or what you can't do. Because when you focus on what you can do, the universe provides answers for you. Your mind starts thinking in a solution oriented path, as opposed to when you think that, well, you're stuck, you can't really move, you can't do anything. Woe me and this, that, the other. When you think that way, then the mind shuts down. But if you think of possibilities that can help you resolve whatever situation you're in, the mind opens up and you have solutions that come to you. So it's a matter, again, in this case, of applying some creative thinking, towards resolving this particular challenge here. Folks, as we wrap up today, I want to take a moment to reflect on this. I would like for you to take a moment to reflect on these barriers that we've talked about here today. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's procrastination, maybe it's the pressure, to meet others' expectations of you. Whatever it is, recognize that these barriers are not permanent. You can make it happen. You can overcome these barriers with the ideas that we've shared here today. You can do it. We've all been through it. We've all been through it. Anyone who has done anything of significance has had to go through barriers in their lives. You can too. Remember, every time you break through a barrier, you're not just moving forward, but you're adding. You get stronger. You add to your resources. So that next time you'll be even stronger. And you'll be able to achieve even more. The road to success, folks, is paved with these breakthroughs, the ones we've talked about here today. So the next time you encounter a roadblock, don't think of it as the end, as it were. It's not the end of your journey. Instead, see it as the beginning of a new chapter, a new opportunity for you to rise higher. You have the power to change, to turn every challenge into an opportunity or stepping stone in your life. You have it. Now go out and make it happen, because you can make it happen. You can overcome whatever challenge you face in your life. Well, folks, I hope this has been beneficial to you. If you find this helpful at all, certainly share it. And you can if you have any questions for us, reach out to us at premierdestiny.com. You can email us your questions also at support@premierdestiny.com. Support@premierdestiny.com. And check us out on our social media platform handles. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're also on Instagram. Until next time, folks, make it a great day and a fantastically successful day for you. Bye for now.